wanting something new in your life, like some fried ice cream? Well, I'm about to make this amazing Mexican feast, and I hope you'll join me along on the ride. So let's get into it, and let's make some Mexican food. Hey everybody, I'm Mama Baird, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be whipping up a giant Mexican feast for my family of 5. I don't know about you, but I love going out to eat, but the cost of it is just so much. And I feel like you can have better quality, plus you learn something new. I love doing new cuisines, so tonight is all about Mexican night. If you're new to the channel, my name is Carolina. I live in Montana. I do a lot of pantry cooking, budget shopping, and product reviews on my channel. If that's the kind of content you're into, I hope you'd consider subscribing. I'd love to have you come join my YouTube family. I also have a Facebook group, Mama Baird's Homestead. Please come join me over there. We have a lot of good recipe sharing, and it's an overall great support group. I'd love to have you. First thing I'm gonna do is go shopping at my local Winco and try and get as many ingredients as I can for a good price. So let's get into the car and let's head to Winco. Winco is one of my favorite stores to shop because I believe it has really good deals. I am not going to be buying my refried beans because I have some in my pantry, but here's roughly the cost of them if you were to get them at the store. I decided to go after my chicken first because I wanted to make sure that I picked that out. The chicken tenders are a little more than the chicken breast. However, I had to buy like at least 3 pounds of chicken breast, and I didn't need that much. I just needed a pound of chicken. So even though the chicken tenders cost more per pound, it was cheaper to get a pound of that than to buy a bigger bag of chicken. So I got that. And now I'm headed over to the cheese. There's this Oaxaca, that's how I'm going to say it. I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, cheese, which is going to be for the queso. And then I have the cojeta cheese, which is mostly just going to be for garnish. And then I'm going to be getting some Mexican cheese as well for mixing in with my enchiladas and taquitos. I just need a small bag though, so I went and grabbed that. And then some white American cheese for our queso. I don't know if this is traditional, but that was the recipe, and it was only $3 for 12 ounces. So I grabbed one of those. And then we got to have sour cream to go top of our enchiladas, so I included that in there. Then I'm going to be making fried ice cream, and the batter is cornflakes and then also vanilla wafers. You didn't see me grab that, but I grabbed a pack of vanilla wafers. And then our vanilla bean ice cream, this was $3 for a quart and a half. So I grabbed that, and then while I was in the cold section, I was going for heavy whipping cream, but they were completely out of it. It was not stocked, and the only thing up there was the super expensive organic one. So I decided to just get half and half. I thought that that would be a good substitute. So I did that, and then I had to go behind this guy just holding up the line there. And I was headed to the oil section because we need some more vegetable oil for frying a couple of things that we're going to be doing. So I wanted to make sure I had enough of that. And then we're going to be getting some tortillas. I got the king size corn tortillas because we're going to need them for the enchiladas, the taquitos, as well as the chips. Now headed over to the produce, grabbed me a little bunch of cilantro. That's going to be needed for a lot of our recipes. We're going to need some tomatoes, I got about 10 of those. A couple of peppers. I'm glad to see that they were on sale. We're going to grab a couple of red onions, and then as well as some fresh limes. But now they also have this lime juice in smaller little bottles. If you want to do that instead of the fresh limes, it's a nice substitute. And then we're going to get some jalapenos, only $1.48 a pound, and these were beautiful looking jalapenos. That's all I needed to grab in the store, so now I'm going to go ahead and check out, and then we're going to get home, and we're going to do this in a couple of stages. We are going to prep our food, and then we're going to cook the food, and then we will be ready to go. So let's get home and let's get all this unpacked. Hey everybody, we made it back home. I have everything on the counter here that I'm going to be prepping. I'm kind of doing a prep first, and then we'll cook a little later this evening because some of this does require you to do stuff in advance. And that's one of the ways that you can make a big meal like this is by breaking it up and doing it in sections. So I shopped one day, I'm going to prep this morning. It depends on the energy and what I'm able to get done in a day. So we're gonna prep all this, and hopefully we can get some of this cooked tonight. If not, then we'll do it tomorrow, no big deal. But the first thing, I have a bunch of my lists here. I have my recipes. I will have all of these listed below. None of this I am making off the top of my head. I'm just following some recipes. I want it to be as close to what you would find in a Mexican restaurant as possible. So I'm starting with my fried ice cream because that needs to be in the freezer for a little bit to make sure that it gets nice and hard. So we are going to start. I have my vanilla bean ice cream out here thawing a little bit, and then I have my food processor, and we're gonna crush up these $5 a box vanilla wafers. Friggin' ridiculous. The kids were like, Mama, can we eat this? I'm like, not for $5 a box, you can't. But I'm sure we'll have some leftovers. I need 2 cups of each vanilla wafers and cornflakes crushed up, and then that takes this whole thing of ice cream. So we're definitely gonna have some leftover for the freezer that we can cook another time. So let's get in here and let's crush up our vanilla wafers and our cornflakes. All right, so I'm gonna need 2 cups of each once they're crushed up. So let's do half the bag. Plug it in, plug it in. There we go. Okay. Alright, we got some chunks. I think that'll be fine. Alright, well that was pretty much exactly 2 cups, half of the bag. And then we have our cornflakes here, which we'll have leftover cornflakes as well. Alright, 2 cups. Alright, I am done with this food processor, so let's get this out of the way. We have our 4 cups of breading. That is 2 cups of vanilla wafers, 2 cups of cornflakes, and then we're also going to add 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and then get this all mixed up. Alright, the serving size for this is a 1/4 cup of ice cream, so that's what I'm going to do. I feel like this would be small, but remember, we're going to be coating these several times. So we're going to coat this, freeze it, and then when it comes out, we're going to egg wash it and then coat it again. The tip on having frozen ice cream work is to have it frozen, like super frozen. And then I got some wax paper here. And so a scoop. Might be easier if you had an actual ice cream scoop. Like I said, I'm trying to follow it to a T as much as I can. But cooking is mostly just doing what you got, using what you have. So with specialty cooking like this, you might have to get a couple of certain ingredients and do it a certain way. But then once you know pretty much the gist of it, you can do it off the top of your head. Oh yeah, these are going to be good by the time we coat them. All right, so I'm going to keep doing this, and then I'll bring it back when I have them all done. All right, I'm finishing up here. They're starting to melt a bit. Tell you guys, when I interned in a hotel when I was in pastry school, we had to actually, if we made ice cream desserts like this, we had to scoop and make them in the freezer so this wouldn't melt. That was a fun time. All right, so this is all the 1.5 quarts of ice cream. And then we're going to use this batter to coat again. We're going to do like an egg wash after these firm up for a few hours in the freezer. And then we'll do this again and then back in the freezer. All right, so I'm going to put this in my deep freeze. I'm going to show you guys any leftover ingredients I have as well, because I know going shopping, that was a bit of a shock at how much everything cost. But you're not going to be using everything. You're going to have leftovers. So the ultimate meal is going to end up costing less than our shopping trip. I got half a bag of cornflakes left. And then I have half a bag of vanilla wafers left. So these are extra items that are going in my pantry. Hey everybody, I'm ready to do my second round of batter. I need to fluff my eggs till they're nice and foamy. So I'm going to use my little portable blender here. I can have this linked below. This is actually a chopper, not a blender, but I'm going to give it a try. Oops. All right, that egg was not good. So let's do another one. Exactly why I try and crack them in a separate bowl. That one had a bit of a smell. It wasn't bad, but the eggs aren't supposed to smell. So we're going to do 4 eggs. All right, so let's put this back on. Now let's blend this up. I've never tried this before, so let's see if it works. That worked pretty well. Okay. And I think it's going to work putting the balls in there and then trying to put them in here. Let's hope it. Let's see. All right, let me go get the ice cream balls out of the freezer. All right, so let's give this a try. Put it in the egg. Huh, that gonna work. Double batter. Put it back. All right, I'm gonna keep doing this till all of them are recoated. All right, guys, these are all double battered, so I'm going to get these in the freezer, and they're gonna stay in there until we give them a fry. Hey, everybody, we are going to start with the meats. I'm going to be cooking most of this in the crock pot. I have our chicken tenders here that we got at Winco, and then I was able to grab this skirt steak with a $5 off coupon at Super One. So this was the other day. I vacuum sealed it because I knew I was going to be making this meal. So it's one of those things where if you know you're going to be making something, you can keep your eye out for it. So this is about 1.25 pounds. I am going to be cutting this in half. And then we're going to use half of this for our fajitas. The other half's going in the crock pot. Let's do like right here. Yeah. So we're going to put this in the crock pot. Lay it down. Now for this, have you heard the saying that you want to cut against the grain? Well, you see here, you see how these lines are going this way? That is the grain. So cutting against it means you don't want to cut this way. You want to cut this way. And the whole point of that is that it tears at this part when you eat it. So if it's cut this way, then it tears into long strips. Whereas if it's cut this way and it tears this way, it kind of shreds. So hopefully that makes sense on why you want to cut it the opposite. And I'm just going to do some pretty thin pieces. So I cut it in half that way when I'm just trying to cut them into smaller pieces. Put this on top. There we go. I think I'm going to cut just a little more. Let's do right here. Just because I want to make sure we have plenty of meat for the fajitas. So same thing, cutting against the grain. Like that. And then here is our chicken tenders. You could also always do half tenders, or you could do half chicken, half beef if you want for the fajitas. I got the flank steak in there, and then I'm going to put the chicken tenders over here on this side. And let me go wash my hands, and then I'll finish this up. And let's close up our flank steak for our fajitas. Now I'm going to add some Worcestershire Who's Your Sister sauce. This has vinegar in it, and it helps break down the protein in the meat, which makes it super tender. And then I have a little bit of taco seasoning left. I'm going to sprinkle that over it, the last of it. And then that is all I'm going to put in it. So let's put our lid on it. I'm going to go slow and low. It's not going to take too long to cook these. It's not going to take like 8 hours because these are both kind of thinner. So we'll leave this for probably 4 hours on low, and then we'll check it. All right, let's check it. It's been going a couple of hours. It's starting to smell good. Chicken is fully cooked. So let's pull the chicken out. We're shredding this, using it for our taquitos. Oops. And our enchiladas. Oh, it's perfect. just gonna kind of like mix it. That'll shred it. Oh, I'm gonna give that a try. Alright, chicken's definitely done. Sure steak. Let's see, I don't think this beef is done yet. It's still kind of tough. That one piece tasted good, but the wrap's kind of tough. So we're gonna keep this on low and keep that steak cooking a little more. Woohoo! Let's see. Oh, that's much better. You see how that's just falling apart. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. Alright, we got steak and chicken cooked from our crock pot. So we're gonna get this cooled down and we'll get this in the fridge for our meals tomorrow. Coffee break. Alright, now let's get to dicing all of these veggies. Alright, let's get our veggie board out. In here. And then I also have my dicer here that's going to make everything perfectly uniform. I will have this linked below. This is a game changer when it comes to prepping in the kitchen. But first we got to like slice everything and get all that done before we dice. So here's all the tomatoes I got. So we're just going to try and slice these as thin as we can. I don't worry too much about the core. It'll come out or it'll get blended up. I don't think it's a big deal to chomp on a core, but if that is a big deal for you, then you just take that part off, you know, or you can just cut around it like that if you so choose. Take it out. Take it out. Slice it off. They have a thing called a tomato corer. I have one as well, but of course can't locate it. Always seems to be the trouble. Alright, so I'm going to do the rest of the tomatoes, and then let me show you how this dicer works. I'm just going to put it right here on the cutting board. Lift this up. I need some oil. Sometimes you can just do some veggie spray. There we go. So, if you have a choice to do the gooey side up or like the flesh side up, do the skin side up because that'll help keep it from splattering and squishing, I mean. So you can see how nice and diced these tomatoes are, and then we'll just slide them into our bowl. So I'm going to go ahead and dice all these tomatoes first, and then we'll dice everything else. Alright, we got a big bowl of tomatoes here, all diced. This is going to go towards our pico. So now, let's cut the jalapenos. And then I'm also going to do the onions and the bell peppers. Cut off the top here. If you are sensitive to pepper juice, I suggest you use gloves if you're going to handle jalapenos. I'm going to cut some of the membrane and seeds out, but I don't mind leaving some in. I just kind of, if I'm wanting to keep the pepper whole, which it doesn't really matter, I guess I can cut it. I kind of slice around it in the inside to get it out. It's this membrane here that's really the spicy part. These are nice jalapenos, super crunchy. So we'll scoot some of these seeds out. When I was working at Applebee's, we kept the seeds in. I think that was more of just a labor saving technique though than a recipe thing. All about that labor. Gotta go as fast as you can, or as long as you can, if you're gonna make it. Alright, let's get these diced. I'm not gonna worry that there's still tomatoes in here because it's all going in the same thing. You could also slice some of these and use them for the fajitas. I always like to add jalapenos to my fajitas if I get them in the restaurant because it adds a little spice to it. What can I say? I like it spicy. Now, if you don't have a dicer like this, you can obviously just do it by hand. It'll be a little longer, but this is something you could definitely do by hand if you don't have it. Or you could use your food processor to dice these up. You could use one of those slap chops if you have one of those. But this, I like that it makes it all uniform. It makes it look really professional. And it's super fast to do. Look at that. Done. Here's our diced jalapenos. Ooh, that's a lot. Let's move on to our peppers. This is kind of wet now. I'm just going to get a new one, and then you can use this for anything, really. Alright, so I'm going to cut kind of at the edge here and go around the seeds. Alright, so some of these, this bigger one, let's slice into strips. Let's do this little one too. Okay, so that's for fajitas. Let's also do half of the orange for fajitas. Just got the orange because it was the same price and it adds some color and some sweetness. And a green one. So here's our peppers, combination of 2 whole peppers here, 1 colored, 1 green, and then we'll put some onions in there too, and that's for our fajitas. Let's get these diced up. Here's our colored peppers here. Let's finish with the green ones. We're just going to dice all these. Alright, and there's our green peppers all cut up. Let's try not to confuse them with the jalapenos. So that's all done. The only thing left to chop with our chopper is our onions here. I have my onions diced up, and then I remembered that I did need some for my fajitas. So I'm just taking the last of the sliced red onion and kind of slicing it a little thinner to make sure that they're kind of bite-sized. And then I'm going to be adding this to my pepper mix. So we have onions and peppers, and then all the rest of those diced onions are going to be used in our pico. Alright, next I'm going to be handling this cilantro. Just kind of cut it up above the tag there. You want to keep it kind of bunched up. Gonna prep the pico first. Whenever I'm cutting cilantro, I try to keep it all together in a bunch and just run my blade through it. I put my hand on the tip of my knife and kind of rock it back and forth, and then just keep pushing the cilantro back in on itself to dice it some more. Now, if you don't like cilantro because you're weird, you can leave this out, but this loves cilantro. But I get it, some people say it smells like soap. My best friend included, which is alright, more for me. But I'm going to be adding cilantro to every part of this dish because I'm a normal person. Hope you know, I'm just playing. That's a good thing about cooking stuff at home is that you can do it however you want, with whatever you want, for whoever you want. You know what I'm saying? You could do half and half if you wanted. Alright, oh, it's pretty pretty good. So let's put this in here. All right, there's our cilantro. Last thing we're gonna do is juice these limes. I like to kind of roll them a bit. It helps get their juices flowing. Cut these in half. Let's just do 3 for now. Save 2 for like garnishes. All right, let's assemble this pico. So I'm gonna use all of the tomatoes. Let's add diced onions to this. This is our jalapenos. And then our peppers, I went ahead and mixed up all of them. Peppers, cilantro. Gonna add salt. Let's add some pepper. And then our limes here. All right, there's our limes. Let's give this a toss. Once you have the pico all prepped, this would be good to last for a couple of days in the fridge. You can eat it right away, but I also like to let it sit and let the lime and juices all marinate as well. There we go, our pico de gallo. Let's give it a taste. I almost think it needs a little more salt. More pepper. Alright, well, we're gonna let this set in the fridge and then we'll move on to something else. I'm gonna start my queso next. I'm gonna do it in the crock pot. So I have 12 ounces of American cheese, white American cheese here. I don't know if this is originally traditional, but this is the recipe that I found and I think it sounded pretty good. So I'm just going to kind of break them up. They are sliced, so they're broken up that way, and put them in the crock pot. Then I have the Oaxaca, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, cheese. This is also kind of like mozzarella cheese, but it says queso on it. And this made the queso dip. This was super creamy, and I highly suggest you use that cheese in it if you can find it. And then I'm going to add in about a cup of half and half, and then I'm going to add in a cup of my homemade pico. This recipe did call for heavy cream, but the half and half worked just fine. And then we're going to stir this up a bit. I'm going to put the lid on it, and we're going to cook this on low until it is all melted. It took about 2 hours, so you could also put this in the microwave if you need it faster. Guys, next item on the agenda is to make our enchilada sauce. So I have a can of chipotle peppers in adobo sauce. I'm going to put one of the peppers. We're going to use our little blender again here. Plus some tomato, or I'm sorry, not tomato sauce, the adobo sauce. And then I have some corn cob stock here that I made. I'm actually due to make some more. You could also use either chicken stock or a veggie stock for your enchilada sauce. I think this corn stock is going to add some good flavor though. So the plan is that we're going to take about a cup of this. We're going to use 3 cups total. But we're going to mix this with our chipotle pepper and try and get a nice smooth consistency. And we'll go from there. Let's see, I don't feel like it's really chopping it. Let's see though. Pepper's still kinda, whoops, dang it, mother, stupid son of a, dang it. Let's do a little more and then we will strain whatever's left so it'll get rid of the seeds and then the big chunks of pepper. Alright everybody, let's start this enchilada sauce. We're going to use a roux as a thickener. So I'm going to put about 3 tablespoons of olive oil in the pan. You can use any kind of oil though. And then I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. That's what's going to be our thickener. Give this a whisk. The good thing about this recipe is that you can make it how you want. So if you like your sauce to be thicker, then you just add less stock. If you like it to be thinner, then you add more. You can add whatever flavorings you like. If you don't want it spicy, don't add the chipotle or the chili. If you want it spicier, add more, you know the deal. I'm gonna do a little bit of chili. Usually it's about 4 tablespoons. I'm gonna do a little less than that. Let's turn it down a little bit. I like to put them in there because it's gonna help toast the sauces if you can do them in the fat there. That was garlic powder. Here's some cumin. Woo! Burning a bit. Hold on. Oh boy. Oh boy. Carolina. Oh man. Alright. Hopefully that's not burnt. Let me test it. We're good. We're good. We're good. Okay. Little too high of heat. Okay. Let's add our can of tomato sauce. All right, let's add our mixture. Glad we strained it. Look at all that junk, but this will still be good. We're not going to get rid of that. Just strain it. There we go. We're okay. We're okay. Oven's ready. All right, I'm going to add some salt. Also some Mexican oregano. I'm just going to pinch that up. That in there, half a teaspoon or so, and then we're gonna add a little more cornstarch. All right, we can get boiling a little more now. That is the general gist of our sauce here. This one's pretty thick. I like that. That's about 2 cups. Here's my marker. I like these jars. Let's do a little splash more. So it's exactly 2 cups of broth. Give this a taste. Yeah, I think that tastes great. Let's let it get a little hotter. Boil a little bit. And then that's our sauce. For the rice, I'm going to be using my Instant Pot. I have 2 cups of long grain rice here. I'm going to be adding in 1 can of tomato sauce, adding in 2 cups of corn cob stock. The other half I used for my enchilada sauce. And then I have some mixed stock. This is like half turkey, half chicken, maybe a pork bone in there. So I'm going to throw some of this in there as well to equal 4 cups. We're gonna put in some cilantro, about half a cup or so. I'm gonna put in half a teaspoon, a good size, half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Fresh garlic also works really well. And then we're gonna do half a teaspoon of cumin, some salt, and some black pepper. Let's give this a stir. All right, and then we are going to pressure cook this for 3 minutes and then let it natural release for 10, and it should be done. All right, everybody, we're going to start on our enchilada filling. I'm going to add a little bit of sour cream to this filling. This is half the steak and then half the chicken. I also have my Mexican blend cheese here. I am trying to follow enchiladas as traditional as possible. So if this is something that you would be able to give some insight on, I'd appreciate it. I'm going to put a little bit of our sauce in it, as well as some cilantro. Alright, and then let's give this a mixture. And then I'm serving in beans and rice, obviously, on the side, so don't worry too much. And I'm not making too many. All right. Let's make some chicken. And then I still have beef and chicken I set aside for the taquitos that we will be rolling next, but I want to get these in the oven. All right, now here's our mixture, our enchilada pan. Put some sauce down on the bottom. Perfect. Now, I tried to put these in the microwave so they wouldn't crack. Those that are cracking, I'm setting aside for the dang it, chips. All right, so we're gonna put some filling in here. Kind of roll it. And it might break a little bit, that's okay. This is my first try. I usually do flour tortillas. This is actually my very first time using corn. I think that'll be fine. You just keep it open maybe. Okay. All right, let's do a beef one. All right, so we got chicken, beef, 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 chicken. Looks pretty good. Spoon our sauce over it. Now I accidentally added a big size thing of tomato sauce when you were just supposed to do half of a size or half of a can. But I think that was kind of nice because it kind of mellowed it out a little bit. I don't know, I don't have that much sauce left. Just pour it in there. Just go for it, and then we will top it with cheese as it gets cooking. So this is going in our 400-degree oven. Next, we're going to be working on the taquitos. I have the same filling here as I pretty much did with the enchiladas. The only difference is that I don't have any of the enchilada sauce in here. I just have the Mexican cheese, steak, and then sour cream. And then the same thing over here. I'm not going to put cilantro in this either. These ones are probably going to be more of what the kids eat. They like home. Well, they like the frozen taquitos. I've never made homemade taquitos, so this will be fun. Now I heated these up in the microwave again, 30 seconds with a wet towel. Hopefully that'll be good. Try and spread this out here. And then tuck, roll, and then just a little bit of water to kind of, well, that's not going to stick. Well, we'll see how that works out. I guess some people put a toothpick through it. I wonder if I can bake these instead of frying them. That might be a better solution, like in the air fryer. You know, I don't want these to fall apart in the fryer, have the filling go everywhere. I think I might just do that. All right, so I'm just going to keep doing this where I'm going to prick them, and then I'm going to get the steak and the chicken filling into them, and then I'll bring it back. Are you ready? Everybody, I preheated my air fryer at 400, and then I sprayed some olive oil spray on the top of these, hoping to get them crispy. And then I'm going to cook these. I don't know. Let's do, what do you think? 8 minutes? That was going apart a little bit. That's okay. Let's try 8 minutes in the air fryer. And then I also cut the rest of the tortillas. I just cut them into triangles, so cut them in quarters. And then we're going to fry these, and these are going to be our chips. Next, I'm going to be cooking some refried beans. I'm cheating and just using pre-canned refried beans. It's pretty much just pinto beans mashed up, and I have some vegetable oil down there. Bacon grease would be ideal. Woo. The whole point of refried is that you're refrying them, so you got to put them in a pan that has oil. Maybe not that hot oil. Woo. Doing 2 pans. Just gonna kind of, yes, I know. We're gonna press this down. I know. gonna let it fry a bit. I got it down to a 6 now. I have a little bit of cumin we're gonna add, and then I'm gonna add some salt. Let that cooked. Over here, I'm gonna be frying my chips. Let's put one in there. It's not quite ready yet. We're gonna let our oil get completely hot. Our rice is done. Let's open it up, take a look at it. I have not seen it yet. That's pretty good. Not burnt on the bottom. Oh, that looks fantastic. All right, we're just gonna leave this on warm in the Instant Pot. While we're here, let's check the queso. Oh yeah. That looks amazing. So that's on warm, ready to go. And then the enchiladas are also done, just hanging out in the oven. So let's go ahead, give these a flip. And then the last thing after this, we're gonna be cooking our chips, our refried beans, is our fajitas. I'll bring you back when I'm frying the chips. All right, guys, I'm gonna do 2 things at once here. I'm gonna put in some chips. Now, I already cooked 1 round, so I'm gonna do 1 more. You wanna make sure you keep moving them so they don't get stuck. After the first couple of shakes, though, they'll be fine. Now, over here, we're gonna cook our fajitas. Last of my olive oil in that one. Go ahead and put our veggies. Put all the veggies on there. I'm going to go ahead and put some salt, as well as some cumin. Keep mixing our pans and our chips around. Another good thing to add in here would be jalapenos. Anytime I go to the restaurant, I always order it with jalapenos because, you know, I like things spicy. I like my marriage. But for now, we're going to do no jalapenos just because no one else in my family like it as spicy as me. And then we're also going to do some cinnamon chips while we're frying chips, because don't forget, we are having fried ice cream for dessert. So I'm going to be cooking all this. We will have dinner, and then I will turn the oil back on and we will try our fried ice cream. Super excited about it. So the kids, they're more excited about the whipped cream on top that they've been looking forward to. All right, we got that going. I have my meat here that I cooked on the side. So I'm gonna put cumin on that, as well as salt. Now the way that I know that my chips are done is that they quit bubbling. You see all these bubbles here? That's all the moisture getting released from the chips. So once it gets down, you know how we first put it in there, it was super bubbly, and now there's only a couple. Well, once it gets down to absolutely 0 bubbles, then you know that pretty much all of the moisture is out of the chip, and it's gonna be super crunchy. So that's kind of my cue to know when the chips are done. So we're gonna let those go just a little more. I'm gonna give these a couple more minutes to sear, and then we'll take these off, and then we'll throw the steak on. All right, let's take those off. I'm just gonna mix with my hands, and then we'll toss this straight in there. Hopefully this ends up being pretty tender. I usually cooked flank steak before. Do you think this is one of those meats that you guys have to marinate, or we'll see how this turns out. All right, our chips are becoming very less bubbly. They're probably in there for a good minute, minute and a half. Put them in a stainless steel bowl. Try and get as much oil off as possible. And as soon as you take it off, you want to hit it with that salt. Once that oil's still wet on there is when that salt goes. Okay, there's our chips. I got them going in a bowl here with a liner. All right, now let's do the last round of them. And these ones will be our cinnamon sugar ones. So instead of salt when these come out, I'm tossing them in cinnamon sugar. Just simple as that. Make sure we're pushing it all around. Give our steak a flip. Alright, let's add the veggies back to it. Oh yeah, let that cook a little more. Alright, there's our fajitas. While those last little bit chips is finishing up, let's get our spread out. Whew, I did it! I made my Mexican feast! Only thing I wasn't able to do is guacamole, which I'm very disappointed in, but I'm the only one who eats it anyway, so I guess that'll be okay. Imagine that there's guacamole here because that makes it just perfect. Well, we're gonna dig in. I think everything turned out pretty good. The taquitos don't look the best. They probably would have been better fried, but we improvised. These enchiladas look fantastic. I love the beans with the cheese on it. Chips, the queso. Look at this queso. Now, if that's not amazing queso, the pico's good. Our enchiladas, can't wait, or our fajitas, can't wait to eat that. Our cheese. Our rice. Oh, it's good. And this fantastic plate of Mexican rice. It looks amazing. I'm super happy with this. We're gonna dig in, and then I'll bring it back when it's time to fry up the ice cream. All right, everybody, it's time for dessert. We got our ice cream bowl. Let's leave it in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Let's take it out. I got my cinnamon chips here. Oh, let me put it on some oil here. Baby here. Had it dry. Oh yeah. It's going on there. Probably could have done a little bigger, huh? Now, whipped cream. Chocolate sauce. And then a cherry. Oh, come on, down there. Wow, like that. All right, let's give this a try. Ah, look at this fried ice cream. That's so exciting. All right, let's see. Crack it open. So let's see if the outside is crunchy. Ooh, it is. But the ice cream is still solid on the inside. It's cold. It kind of turns into like a ice cream nacho with the cinnamon chips on the bottom. That was just 30 seconds in the fryer. All it needed. Oh yeah. Thank you so much for coming along and seeing how I made my Mexican feast. For my next Frugal Friday Extreme Feast meal, I want to do like an American style barbecue. So I'm looking at like potato salads, macaroni salads, some good barbecue dishes. If you have a super great barbecue dish that you think could make the cut for that video, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time on Mama Baird's. Ow.